it out loud, and I'm like, is this how it's pronounced? Like, yes. Ooh, that's fun. It's a fun one to say.
It is indeed. So I'm keeping an eye on Wanted here. From the games I've seen from him, he's actually played pretty standard. He hasn't been too wild. I wonder if that changes when you're in a situation where you're very much the underdog. Because I think we've seen players flounder a little bit coming up against Time. Like, do you really want to play him at his own game, which is being just a standard Terran and doing it brilliantly? Or do you want to be cheeky and take those big risks? It's hard to decide how you're actually going to approach this.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? Oh, we are seeing a very early third here from Wanted, by the way. Just going for the, like, even sub 150 third base. So he's going to take a little while to get that gas up for link speed. But I do agree with you. I feel like if you're going to play straight up against Time, if you're going to let him play his game, that is going to be a mistake 99 times out of 100 for a lot of the players here in Group A. Obviously, you know, Firefly is definitely a player that could upset. He's an extremely strong player. You know, Wanted a little bit of an unknown quantity, but I'm sure Time knows him pretty well. But again, like, I feel like you got to do something a little bit wild, a little bit crazy. You got to be in his face. I have seen Time die to some Zergs, like Silky, for instance. We've seen Silky defeat Time before in DreamHack Masters, and that is a lot to do with the fact that Silky's play style is very weird, and weird Zergs have been known to defeat Time from moment to moment, from game to game.
Yeah. And when we say Silky's he's a little wild, we mean like a lot.
Yeah.
He is out there,
like,
which I absolutely love. These are strategies that you don't find on VODs very often or on Spawning.
Oh, get out of here! Tell me this thing doesn't survive.
It's gonna survive, Maynard, because it's Time's Reaper.
Oh my God, 2 hit points and it's out of there. That's might as well be a full hit point Reaper because it's just going to regenerate. It gets the creep trimmer as well, which is very annoying, as that could have been an inject on that hatchery that we went to a creep trimmer instead.
Yeah. And so he gets his 3 hatches up. I guess one of the nice things about taking that third so early is that you don't even have to do that little dance with the Reaper. Like, Willie, why don't you let me have it? And he looks like he's just going full on Zerg macro, which is more or less what I've seen from him in the tournaments that he's been playing, maybe in the qualifiers. I think this is roughly how he approached it going up against Coffee. So, looking like a Zerg that is just happy to react to what the Terran's going to be throwing out. And what we see here already are some developments. We've got the usual Hellions coming out for Time, but he's gone for the Liberator follow-up.
Interesting for him to go the Liberator here with the Tech Lab Starport. Yeah, obviously don't need a Tech Lab for the Liberator, so that's pretty interesting. Wonder if he's trying to trick Wanted into potentially showing a battle cruiser opening or something like that. Just like trying to get into his mind a little bit. Seeing another Tech Lab go down on the barracks, so this Starport isn't going to switch over at any time just yet. It's going to go over to the reactor, I'd imagine, or Time very likely going to drop his 2nd and 3rd barracks on that reactor, just because he does love to play bio tanks so much. The Overlord, maybe just sees the Liberator, maybe.
That timing's ridiculous. He probably just managed to kill that in time, unless Wanted was particularly paying attention to that. Good usage of the Queens here to zone out those Hellions, but it gets trickier when those Liberators arrive, because you also want the Queens for that defense too, especially if you don't already have spores set up in the right spots. And that's the opportunity that Time may use to pounce.
And the Hellions are drawing the Queens over here. Meanwhile, the 3rd mineral line being hit by the Liberator. Good pullback there from Wanted. Does lose 1 drone, but is keeping the majority of them alive and is zoning back this Liberator. Unfortunately, some of the lava is in range here, so the lava will get 1 shot by the Liberator. The eggs will continue to survive. They take a few more shots and the Liberator actually die. Oh, drones look like they came back a little early. And Liberator is still alive, but the Queens have zoned it, so it should go down.
Oh, yeah. Does get bopped there in the end, and Wanted is following up with a Spire. So sticking with the usual Zerg style, I suppose, going for the lane Queen defense early on, investing all that gas into the Muta threat.
Yeah, Mutas are the new hotness right now in ZVT. Zerg's been loving them, and they use them to great effect. Oh, Wanted! Coming in with that surround. Time's Hellions, though, made of butter. They are just swimming around in the right side, trying to avoid those lings. One of them gets caught. 2 of them still trying to escape. That's a lot of lings, so he can basically just trade as much as he can, but the Hellions should eventually go down. There's not too much map left for them to escape.
No. He might, yeah, I was gonna say, he might get a couple of good trades against those links there on the end, sneaking around the mineral lines, but yeah, he does get taken out there. He's gonna take his third base, and he's just heading into the 1-1, starting to build up that marine tank composition that you alluded to earlier as we were discussing the maps. This is bread and butter Terran, and it's bread and butter for Time. He's just really crisp with his attacks. And that's where he finds a lot of his success in these matches. He's not doing anything too flashy most of the time. And he's moving out here for his first load of pressure.
Yeah, he's a very normal standard player for the most part. For the most, he does have, of course, some big timing attacks, some big cheeses, some 5-racks attacks, SCV pulls against Protoss, that sort of thing. But he is doing a very ho-hum, regular bread and butter Terran opening here. And the armory, extremely well timed, by the way, drops that and halfway through 1-1, so as soon as it finishes, he'll be ready to start 2-2. This push doesn't look super convincing, but he is hitting a guy that's making a mixture of mutas and lings at the moment. Are there many banelings? There are some coming in. Time looks like he's not actually too prepared for this.
Yeah, that second tank positioning will help him get a
Good
few more
target fire.
shots off there, but with the Marines nicely microing back off creep, he manages to survive. He can still move forward, try and clear a bit of that creep. All those active tumors, so juicy when you're the Terran player. You get to clean all these up, because this might be a spot that he comes back to push again, because that is where the 4th base is situated. He's in fact reinforcing this, or at least trying to. The lings, mutas, and queens here might make that a little difficult.
They may. If all the Marines unload, the mutas and lings cannot engage this. I really want to see the baneling count here of Wanted. It feels like it's a little low. Yeah, there we go. Wanted agrees. It's like, okay, we're going to get a few more here. Going to go up to 13 Banes. That's a little bit more convincing. Obviously, baneling speed extremely important, which he's had for a little bit. Coming on in to stream into those tanks. The baneling's finding a cluster of Marines on the left side. Time may be getting a little bit lax with his micro, but he might think that he doesn't need to because of his reinforcement Marines, but he does need to respect Wanted's army a little bit more.
Wanted actually cleans him up, pushes him out of the way here.
Great.
The medevacs are going to boost home, but he's bound to lose at least one of these on the retreat. I'm sure, yeah, with the reinforcing Marines, he will be able to push that back. Wanted can't really press the issue here. He wasn't too rich for a moment there. I was actually kind of questioning his upgrade timing, because time was bearing down on him, and he's like, oh, I'll start 1-1 for the sky and the ground. I was like, that money could be used on the ground, but he judged it perfectly, of course, and manages to clean that up without too much trouble.
Wanted starting to clear out a little bit of these. Where are you going, buddy? You gonna help out? All right. The lings are getting rid of those rocks there just to make the potential run bys a little bit more effective for Wanted, and also to potentially spread some creep through there so you can get some surrounds and that sort of thing, getting from one side of the map to the other. This can also, weirdly enough, also help Terran push through that location if the Zerg takes their hatcheries around at 3 o'clock. There can be a really nice push location for Terran with those rocks taken down. It is looking like Wanted's just looking for tanks here. Anything that he can catch on the outside of the infrastructure for Terran. Doesn't quite get it. Might lose a muta here. No, just escapes with the mutas.
Yeah, these rallying mutas need to be a little bit careful. But otherwise, he's heading straight into that +2 air attack as he continues to expand. So we're going to be seeing a fairly big flock of mutas coming out here, and this is exactly what he's going to be doing, constantly targeting add-ons, any workers on the outskirts away from that turret range. Once he gets enough, he can just dive straight on it too, and you'll be watching for when time decides to move out, like he is now, for those dive-ins to happen. However, this is a double-pronged attack, and he needs to make sure he's set up adequately to deal with this. He's actually probably going to lose that base. Yeah, he cancels it.
Yeah, Wanted was doing very well when Time was just pushing in one location, and Lingbane Muta is one of those armies. Oh no, the door's up. And Wanted could definitely get into the natural here with those lings, but he's focusing the third. Oh, overcommitting there a little bit with the mutas. Tank at a lovely spot here next to the sensor tower as well, taking a little bit to go down. The lings don't get surface area on it. But as I was saying, to finish my point, Wanted was doing great defensively until Time started hitting in 2 places at once. And now Wanted starting to get stretched a little thin. He's overcommitting again with the mutas. He does get the medevac at least. Baneling streaming in. The Marines of Time, though, splitting back. And a couple of Widowmines get picked off, but most of the Marines are still alive. And Time about to have 2-2 upgrades as well. A nice upgrade here for the Terran. Oh, Widowmine also getting a cluster of lings. All the damage on that queen. Ooh, ouchies.
That's so annoying when you just don't quite get to clean those up in time and they reset and go off again on your units while you're trying to reorganize yourself, because he seems a little bit oh gosh, a little bit off with his meter control because he keeps sort of pathing them into the wrong direction or pathing them over Marines, engaging where he maybe shouldn't. He is looking for those opportunities to backstab, try and keep time busy and pull him back. But look at this, he's just got beautiful macro. He's out here again with two decently sized armies. One just actually engaging him off creep here.
Oh, big cluster of Marines on the left side. Is time watching? Oh my god, that's so close. The Wintermines do not fire. The Banelings nearly rolled straight through that cluster of Marines. The time splitting well enough off creep there to still take the engagement. A couple Thors thrown into the mix just to respect the mutas, but also just being a great tanky unit against the Banelings. These Marines going to catch that 5th hatchery for the 2nd time, getting another cancel there. And this Terran is starting to run away with it. He's up 20 supply almost. And oh, a lot of it is in army Zeph, and that army's on its way at 3-3 with Wanted barely starting 2-2.
Yeah, this is gonna get tougher and tougher as time goes on for Wanted. And the mutas really haven't been able to be too effective here either. Especially the addition of the Thors. They're actually like a bit of a flying paperweight there in that last engagement because he couldn't engage on the right with all those Thors, and there was only Marines left on the left. Not enough ground army to contest it. He's trying to get what he can here. I really like these moves from Wanted, but he's just not quite able to find the damage he's looking for. This is probably the best engagement he's had.
Yeah, that was a nice cleanup on the left side, but what about the right side? Once again, time stretching the multitask here of the Zerg, and Wanted left wanting. Comes in with those Banelings, loses his 3rd base, and these Marines, or rather the 4th base, these Marines are still carving through those lanes, and even if this army gets cleaned up, Time's got more where that came from. He's been producing back at home and hasn't missed a beat with his macro.
No, he's sitting on 80 workers, Maynard. His economy has never looked healthier. He can just keep pounding out those bio units, adding those Thors in. Really makes it difficult for the mutas to engage. They want to snipe a mine or two on the edges, but look at the huge hit he's taking. He's actually going to commit into this, but this is absolute carnage.
Yeah, an absolute bloodbath here, but Time is the one left standing in the end, and he is going to take game 1 here as we kind of expected, but Wanted put up a good early game, I got to say. You know, he was kind of deflecting that early game push that, you know, we've
left once again in the red from Kaiser Gaming. It's Time.
And in the bottom right, a romanticide here on Team LP. It is the underdog. It's Wanted.
But yeah, you know, it's good fun. It's nice to learn some new faces in the scene as well when we have newer players pop into the top 8.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Shy play in a while. He hasn't made the top 8 the past few seasons, and it's cool to see Wanted in here for the first time as well. So, like you said, new fresh faces doing quite well. At J-Dongos as well. J-Dongos.
Jollyway loves.
Yeah.
I think he's actually listed as, or he was listed as one name on Liquipedia and one name,
you know,
on the actual bracket.
One of the most tilting things in the whole world for me is someone that's been on the internet for a while. Like, my name is Maynard on everything, and then there's like the guy that'll join your Discord, and he'll have a different name in Discord, and then in game and the replay he sends you, that'll be a different name, and then in Twitch chat that'll be a different name, and you're like, dude, just pick one. You know what I mean? Does it have to be like this? If you're one of those guys, no hate. I'm just saying that it's hard to keep up as a broadcaster when you've got different names everywhere, you know?
Can be.
Zeph's just like, I'm named differently everywhere.
I'm one of them, yeah.
Yeah. I know.
I changed
Sneaky
my
snake.
ladder name too, so I'm going to have to tell you who I am next time I send you a replay.
Oh, man. So we might hit each other and I won't even know about it. You better say
Yeah.
hello, because I'm actually not Maynard.
I'll think about it.
No, don't say that. Yeah.
And the truth comes out.
I'm actually a barcode, Zeph. Yeah.
Alrighty, well.
Ooh, family nice coming down.
Yeah, this set really hasn't changed much from Time's perspective. He's gone with the Hellion Liberator once again here in the early stages, and Wanted likewise loves his 3 hatches. Many Zergs do, starting to get that creep spread started as well.
Yeah, really normal start here from both players with this. You know, we go for the Baneling nest nice and quickly here. I'm imagining that Wanted once again is going for faster Baneling speed. Is making a lot of lings right now to help out with the Hellion defense. This is very, very similar to game one, actually. Just a lot of lings from Wanted for the defense, and just like a 6 Hellion pressure with the Reaper and then the Liberator in the back line. Time getting a lovely spot here on Romanticide, though. That's tougher to get the Liberator out of this area.
Yeah. He's looking for an angle here over towards the third, but the Queens and Lings are in position to deal with that very nicely. Wanted is actually quite good defensively in these early stages.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. And I think obviously this is his style. This is what he's most confident with. So as much as I'm saying maybe he needs to switch it up, you play what you practice, right? You play to your strengths. So
exactly.
Hoping for a smoother mid-game for him here. Ooh, look at that Ling setup he had waiting just off the creep there.
He had like 2 hands ready to catch that Hellion ball, you know, ready to clap those hands together. That seemed to be what Wanted was going for that retreat. I think it worked a lot better, honestly, on Death Aura. This particular game did not manage to snack that trap. And we were talking about Romanticide before. Look how hard it is to actually get the creep on the other side of those minerals and to actually get onto the other side of those minerals in general at that third base. 100%. Time is going to want to push with tanks there.
It is.
I think Wanted is already setting up a creep carpet, so it's harder for Time to do that. But this is almost certainly the plan because Time actually picked this map.
Yeah, so hard. And he's moving in here with the initial push. Still got all those Hellions and a bunch of Marines. These Queens are going to need some help back up there, my friends. The creep tumors going to be casualties, and that fourth base, no way that's getting up.
Wow.
And it looks like Wanted didn't actually have any Banes at the ready this time. Liberator comes in to capitalize on this small moment of chaos. And the Hellions also trying to get up in here. Oh, no. The Banelings only 3 finish.
3 finish, but they get some decent connections there on the Hellions. Only 2 Hellions live to tell the tale. Yeah. And that means that with this medevac being ejected, Wanted's going to have a little bit more room to breathe here as the Ling count is still pretty high. A lot more Lings coming out of the hatcheries, of course. This force isn't his whole army. They're coming to reinforce now. Doesn't have any Banelings left, but I still feel like that's enough Lings to take this battle, no matter how good your micro is. So Time very likely has to lift up. But keep in mind, this is Time. When he starts to attack and he feels like he's getting any momentum, he will not take his foot off the gas pedal. He's going to start sending more and more and more Marines through the middle of the map here, and we'll be joining up with more factory units. Oh, more Hellions coming in, actually. More Hellions than I thought left over from that initial fight. And still not many Banelings from Wanted. He's been underbuilding Banelings this game.
That's such a nice little choke point there from Time. He muscles his way through. He's targeting the Banelings down again. None of those are going to finish.
That's actually game.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, dude. Time didn't even get to show us that mineral